My beloved child, I am calling you. Don't go anywhere right now. Pause for a moment, just for a single breath, and let all the noise of the world temporarily fall silent. I am Jesus, your Lord, the one who wove you together in your mother's womb and knows your every step. The fact that you stopped here, listening to my voice right now, is absolutely not a coincidence of fate. I have watched over you through long, sleepless nights, seen the heavy burdens pressing down on your frail shoulders, and the heartaches you try so hard to hide behind a forced smile. You are tired of fighting life all by yourself, aren't you, my beloved child? I am not here to judge you or make you afraid. I come as a safe haven of peace for your soul. But today, I want to tell you about something of utmost importance that is about to pour down upon your life. A major turning point. A divine shift is quietly unfolding right ahead that your physical eyes cannot yet see. There are invisible forces trying to pull you away, trying to distract you, so you will scroll past this message. Because they are terrified you will find true freedom under the shadow of my wings. But your moment of redemption has come. And I, your Lord, command you, open up, open your soul wide. Break down the defensive walls you have built up for so long, so that my flow can rush in. Do you know why I chose this exact moment to speak up? There is a secret about your future. A miraculous sign that I have prepared specifically for your energy frequency. If you continue walking the old path in your own strength, you will only encounter more dead ends and exhaustion. But when you obey me, all the doors that have long been closed will automatically swing open. I want to hand you the key to untangle every knot in your life. From broken relationships to the material worries that are suffocating your mind every single day. If you can feel my warmth touching your heart, if you want me to step in and turn the tide of your life, comment the phrase, "I am listening to the voice of God," right below as a pledge of divine obedience between you and me. Don't scroll past. Just stay with me a little longer. Walk with me to the end of this journey. I promise, when the final words come to a close, I will pull back the veil of mystery, show you the special sign, and hand you the secret to transforming your destiny that I have reserved just for your life. My beloved child, welcome, my beloved child, into this quiet space with me. Right now, lay down all the defensive shields you've had to carry out there in the world. Here and now, there is no pressure, no judgment, only you and me. Let me pull your exhausted soul into my embrace. My beloved child, I want you to know a truth. I was there. I was there on the nights you turned off the lights, lying in silence, looking up at the empty ceiling, letting tears quietly roll down your temples. I was there when you drove home in suffocating silence, not even bothering to turn on the music, accompanied only by heavy sighs. I was there when you stood before the mirror, trying to practice a forced smile in preparation to step outside, to face your family, your co-workers, and those who expect you to be strong. I saw it all. I saw the deepest cracks in your heart, the wounds you told yourself you must keep hidden, not allowed to reveal to anyone, because you feared that if you collapsed, everything around you would shatter too. You have been the strong one in other people's stories for far too long. Everyone comes to you looking for help, for comfort, or for a shoulder to lean on. But has anyone ever stopped, looked deep into your eyes, and asked, "Are you okay yet?" I know the answer. You always have to pretend you're fine. Pretend you have everything under control, from finances and work to the peace of your family. But deep down inside, you are depleted. You feel like an empty vessel, bone dry and cracked, yet still having to force out the last few drops of water to nourish others. I completely see through this dead end of yours. I know you are desperately asking in despair, Lord, what did I do wrong? Why do I always live decently? Always try my best, but all I get in return is betrayal, exploitation, and never-ending burdens. But my dear child, listen to me very carefully, and this is a secret I will decode in detail for you in the next part of the video. Those who have been draining your energy for so long, the people you try so hard to please, who are they really in? My destined plan for you, I will soon expose that, so you will understand why I am forced to clear them out of your life. Now, let me explain why you have had to go through this barren wilderness many times. You thought that the continuous trials pouring down were a sign that I had forgotten you, or worse, that I was punishing you. No, my beloved child, 1,000 times no, I am the Lord, the Father who loves you with an everlasting love. I never take pleasure in your pain. What you are going through is not a punishment, but a sacred refining process. Think of a lump of unrefined gold. To become a magnificent and pure piece of jewelry, it must pass through the blazing fire to melt away all impurities. Your soul is the same. The financial pressures, the emotional rifts, the dead ends in your career that you are facing, those are my refining fire. I am using it to burn away the old habits that no longer serve you, to wash away the limiting beliefs that are imprisoning you in lack, and to peel off the layers of fake masks the world has forced upon you. I am preparing you for a new position. Something of utmost importance is coming, and that position demands a stronger, more resilient, and purer version of you. If I did not allow these upheavals to happen, you would forever be stuck in a narrow comfort zone. You would continue to settle for things far below the true value I have established for you. The doors that suddenly closed, breaking your heart, were actually my strict protection, preventing you from stepping onto a path of self-destruction. The people who abandoned you in your hardest times were actually removed by my own hands, for they do not have the ticket to enter the glorious new chapter ahead with you. But how will you recognize who truly belongs in your new journey? And how will you recognize which door I myself will open for you in the coming days? In the third part of this message, I will give you the exact passcode to identify those signs, so you will never have to walk in darkness again. My child, take a deep breath and exhale all the anxiety that is tightening your chest. Give the control of your life back to me. You've tried to be the hero for far too long. Now is the time to allow yourself to be a child, loved and protected in my arms. I want you to take off that heavy armor. Cry if you want to cry. Admit your weakness before me, for it is precisely in your weakness that my power is most fully manifested. I am performing a spiritual surgery on you. It may be painful. It may make you feel a sense of loss for a moment, but it is a necessary pain to save and rebirth you. Trust in the hands of the Creator. I never start a masterpiece only to abandon it halfway. The masterpiece of your life is being redesigned by me from the most ruined foundations. Before I can fill your vessel with abundant living water, with financial prosperity and true peace, there is an invisible barrier that you yourself are unknowingly erecting. Do you know what that barrier is? It lies right in how you treat your old wounds. And in the section right after this, I will clearly show you what that barrier is, along with the very first key for you to throw open the door leading to the momentous shift I have promised. Take refuge under the shadow of my wings. My child, no matter how great the storm out there is, it cannot touch you when you are in me. Keep your heart perfectly still, for my voice will become clearer when you stop the screaming in your mind. Keep walking with me, because the next chapter is when I will reveal the way to break free from the chains that have bound you for so long. I promise to show you the invisible barrier that you are unintentionally building up yourself, suppressing it over the years until it became a solid wall separating you from touching my blessings. Let's stand still together in this silence. Peel off every mask and thorny armor the world forced you to wear, and look straight into the deepest, hidden corner of your soul. The greatest barrier preventing you from touching the upcoming momentous shift is not your current difficult circumstances, not the debts that are making you lose sleep, nor the people who are intentionally trying to harm you. The real barrier, my child, is your stubbornness in trying to control every aspect of your life on your own, along with the habit of gnawing on old wounds as a shield to hide your fear. You always tell yourself that you have to shoulder the burden, have to calculate every step for tomorrow, because if you let go, everything around you will completely collapse. The uncertainty of the future and the ghost of past failures always haunt you, throwing you into a spiral of anxiety, of working yourself to exhaustion. But do you realize that the tighter you try to hold onto the sand, the faster it slips through your fingers, the more you try to struggle with your own strength in the muddy bog of dead ends? The deeper you sink and the more suffocated you feel. The door of your heart, where I always want to dwell to soothe and fill with peace, has now rusted shut because of the tears of resentment accumulated through so many seasons of storms. You have used the betrayal of those you once trusted most, the shattering of your past plans, to lock your heart tight. You created a cold shell, telling yourself that you will never trust anyone again, forcing yourself to survive on your own in this life full of traps. But my beloved child, when you lock the door of your heart to prevent others from hurting you, you also unintentionally block the way, keeping me from entering to heal and bless you. You stand inside the wall you built yourself, trembling in fear, yet always acting invincible before the world. I completely understand that exhausted loneliness of yours, and that is why today, Jesus, your Lord, the one who loves you with an everlasting love, must directly command you, open up. Do not continue to imprison your soul in the dark dungeon of doubt and self-defense. Open that door so my light can flood in, dispelling the dark obsessions that cling to your mind every night. It is time for you to enter a completely different chapter, the chapter of shifting from your own strength to grace. Do you understand what my grace is? Grace is not something you have to exhaust yourself for, trading sleepless nights of anxiety or extreme suffering to possess. My grace is a completely free gift, a divine, overflowing stream from heaven that never runs dry. Your small strength is just like a drop of water in a scorching desert, while my grace is a vast ocean ready to fill every dry, barren space in your life. When you are willing to place your faith in me, you no longer have to row the boat of your life alone through the terrifying storms of the world. I want my beloved child to let go of those tired oars, so that I myself can take the wheel, steering your boat safely through every dangerous rapid. You were not created to live in lack, confusion, or exhaustion. I am the Lord. I have the power to rule over every storm, and when you are willing to surrender to me, every order in your life will be perfectly re-established. I know you are facing material worries that weigh heavily on you every time you open your eyes to a new day. Unpaid bills, debts constantly knocking at the door, the instability of your job, and the silent fractures in your family relationships. All that noise is trying to scream in your head, drowning out my gentle call. But listen to me very carefully. I am the one who feeds every bird of the sky, who clothes every blade of grass in the field in splendid garments. How could I possibly abandon you, the beloved child I used my own life on the cross to redeem when you obey me and open your heart? I will calm the storms within, giving you back absolute clarity so you can spot the opportunities and the ways out that, previously, when you were lost in worry, your physical eyes unintentionally missed. I will dispatch my angels to assist you in the form of kind people, unexpected opportunities, and financial resources that seemed tightly closed for so long, suddenly breaking open. But all those miraculous things can only begin when you dare to put down the stubborn ego that wants to carry the burden alone, and offer your complete faith to me, right at this moment. If you truly want to stop the exhausting battle fought in your own strength, If you want to feel my refreshing grace overflowing your soul and your life, take an action of powerful faith. Declare your surrender before heaven so I can begin to act. Comment right below this message the phrase, Lord Jesus, I obediently open my heart. My child, do not take this action lightly. When those characters are written from your own heart, it is not just lifeless text on a phone screen, but a definitive declaration in the spiritual realm that you officially relinquish control in your own strength, that you have cleaned out your broken, empty vessel for me to fill with my abundant living water. That is the moment you pull up the rusted anchor of fear, letting the boat of your life begin to glide on the abundant waves of the Almighty's grace. From this moment on, I will directly intervene in the most dead-end corners of your life, heal your weary body, restore broken relationships, and open up new financial sources to liberate you from the lack you've endured for so long. My beloved child, feel a gentle, warm breeze creeping into your heart right now. That is my presence. When you write or type those words of surrender, I have already received them and begun to break the curses, the patterns of poverty, debt, and suffering that have haunted your family for generations. You are no longer a lonely orphan fighting in the current of life. I am your Father, your protector, and your greatest provider. Let me show you how I will rearrange your relationships, how I will turn the tide of the situations that seemed the most hopeless. You will see those who once looked down on you stand in awe at my uplifting of you. You will see the financial burdens that once felt like a giant mountain now melt like wax before me. However, my beloved child, this glorious journey is not all sweet laughter right away, so that I can pour fresh, pure water into your life. I must do a very decisive work of sifting. I am the Lord of holiness and order. I cannot let the filth and stains of the old chapter continue to exist and destroy your new blessings. There is a chilling truth that I want you to fully grasp right now. There are things, and especially people around you, playing the role of stumbling blocks, stopping the flow of my blessings from pouring into your life. Can you identify the close relationships that are silently draining your energy every day, sucking dry your faith and pulling you backward? They appear before you with a kind exterior, even sweet words, but in reality, in my destined plan. Who are they? Why am I forced to remove them so ruthlessly? And how will you know clearly who belongs to your new future, and who you must decisively let go of without feeling guilty or regretful? Continue to keep your heart perfectly still and listen to my next whispers, because I am about to pull back the veil on that shocking truth, helping you fully awaken to receive the greatest shift of your life. Let me pull back the veil that has clouded your eyes for so long, so you can see clearly what is truly happening around you. My child, do you know why for so long, even though you have always lived with a forgiving heart, always been kind and ready to uplift others, all you received in return was exhaustion and heartache? It is because you unintentionally allowed people who are not on the same frequency, not on the same mission, to enter and freely dictate your energy. I am your Father. I see clearly in the darkness that there are people who appear before you with a friendly smile. People you once called soulmates, partners, or even your closest confidants. But after every interaction with them, your soul feels like a withered leaf, drained of vitality and full of self-doubt. They came to you not to walk alongside you, but to suck away the positive energy, the goodness, and the light that I placed within you. They always seem to be there when they need help, need a shoulder to unload their burdens. But when you are at your weakest, when you need a pillar of support, they either hide in the shadows or only hand you cold judgments. My beloved child, I allowed them to appear in your life all this time, not because I forgot you, but because I wanted my beloved child to learn a profound lesson about self-worth and boundaries to protect your soul. But now, the season of that lesson has ended. As a father, I cannot continue to stand by and watch my beloved child be eroded by those toxic relationships. I command you, establish boundaries and bravely let go. This cleansing may make you feel pain, disappointment, and even guilt, because you are naturally a person rich in love. But remember, letting go is not selfish, but is divine obedience to make room for the better things I have prepared. There are doors I must lock. There are people I must remove to protect you from hidden disasters that your physical eyes cannot foresee. When you try to hold on to what I wanted to eliminate, you are creating resistance, blocking the flow of blessings and prosperity that this Father is preparing to pour out upon your life. To prepare for the great shift ahead, you need a truly clean vessel of a heart, one that no longer contains the stains of resentment, envy, or the vague fears transmitted from those around you. Cleanse the temple of your soul, so that only my love, peace, and faith may dwell there. If you have recognized those stumbling blocks, if you truly want to free yourself from the invisible chains of compromise and want me to cleanse every dark corner of your heart right now, make an action of absolute commitment to your Father in heaven. Comment right below this message the phrase, "Father, please cleanse my heart." When you write these words with all your sincerity, I will immediately begin the divine sifting process. As your Father, I will grant you unparalleled courage to say no to things that do not align, helping you stand firm against judgments or the pull of the past. I will wipe away the painful memories of betrayal, soothe the feeling of loneliness when you have to temporarily step out of familiar but toxic circles. You do not need to fear being alone, because I, myself, will fill every empty space in your heart with my sweet and powerful presence, my beloved child. This cleansing is the mandatory stepping stone before that momentous turning point officially knocks on the door of your life. As toxic relationships fade into the past, you will feel a completely fresh, light, and free life force flooding your entire body. You will no longer have to live to please others, no longer have to exhaust yourself in exchange for the temporary validation of the world. You will realize your true worth lies in the fact that you are my beloved child, loved unconditionally by me, and chosen to shoulder a much higher mission. But I know, when the shadows of old habits and familiar faces retreat, you will have to face a terrifying silence. You will ask yourself, when there are no more old pillars to lean on, how can I stand firm on my own amidst the massive upheavals to come? The fear of loneliness and weakness may rise again, trying to pull you back to the safe but suffocating shell you had before. My beloved child, do not let those thoughts deceive you ever again. I am your Father, and I never clean out your life only to leave behind a desolate void. The moment you agree to let me cleanse your heart, I have already prepared an infinite source of inner strength, an invincible shield of protection to equip you. Do you want to know what superior strength I am about to place into your soul? How can you stand firm, as majestic as a lighthouse against all the volatile storms of the world? Unshakable by any force, continue to keep your mind strictly focused and walk with me in the next whispers, because I am about to impart that divine power directly into your life, transforming you from a weakling into a victorious warrior. My child, when the surrounding noise fades into the background, when the people who no longer belong in your future step out the door of your life, I know you are standing in a vast silence. That silence might make you feel shaky, suffocated, and sometimes filled with a vague fear of emptiness. You wonder if you are too alone, if the decision to let go and clean up your life has left you with nowhere to turn. But my beloved child, listen to the whispers of this Father. That silence is not desolation, but a sacred void that I intentionally created in order to prepare to fill you with my power and inner strength. Before a seed can sprout into a towering ancient tree sheltering all things, it must lie motionless under the dark earth, cutting off all ties with the outside world. You are also in that stage of divine preparation. I am your Father, and I have never cleaned out your life only to leave you stranded amidst the ruins. Right now, I want you to feel a new source of strength, a warm ray of light slowly rising from the depths of your soul, awakening the most resilient version of yourself that even you have never known. Look back at the path you have walked. My child, there were moments you thought you had completely collapsed. Days when the pain tightened your chest so much you couldn't breathe. And times when you wanted to give up entirely and let the currents of life push you around. Yet, by some miracle, you are still here, still breathing, still hoping, and rising up. Have you ever wondered where that resilient strength came from? It was not a coincidence. Nor was it just a normal human survival instinct. It is the resilient bloodline, the divine breath that I, your heavenly Father, breathed into you from the beginning of your creation. I created you with a great purpose, with a noble mission that no trivial worldly force can extinguish. Every trial you have endured, every tear you have shed, nothing is wasted in my destined plan. They were training exercises, foundational bricks building a solid bravery, preparing you for a majestic position, facing the momentous shifts about to pour down upon your life. My beloved child, the world out there often defines strength through conflict, loud shouts, dominance, and imposing on others. But the strength the Father wants to give you is a completely different kind of power. It is the strength of silence, of a steadfast heart, unshakable by external storms. It is the ability to maintain peace and kindness even when you are surrounded by chaos and betrayal. When you know that I am your Father, the one who possesses all things and always shields you under the shadow of my wings, you will no longer feel the need to tense up to prove anything to the world. You will no longer be hurt by malicious judgments, no longer be swayed by financial fluctuations or temporary hardships. You stand firm like a lighthouse in the open sea, taking the fierce waves crashing against its base, yet proudly shining its light to guide lost souls. Your inner strength is the perfect combination of unshakable faith and the forgiving love you receive from the Father. There are times when the fear of lack, failure, and the feeling of not being good enough try to creep into your mind, whispering that you are just a weakling, that you do not deserve good things. Those voices come from the darkness, from old wounds, and from those who want to drag you down so they can feel safer. But today, the Father wants to completely extinguish those lies. Look into the Father's eyes. Hear my declaration clearly. You are my treasure. You were created in my image, carrying within you the royal bloodline of heaven. Wealth, peace, wisdom, and victory are the rightful inheritance you naturally receive from this Almighty Father. You do not need to go begging for the world's validation. You do not need to lower yourself in exchange for crumbs of affection or temporary opportunities beneath your worth. When you clearly realize your divine identity, the strength within you will be activated at a completely new level. You will walk with the posture of a victor, not because you have never failed, but because you know that even in failure, the Father always has a way to turn it into an even more glorious victory. My dear child, remember that you never walk alone through the valley of darkness. The world may abandon you. Friends may turn their backs. But I, your Father, never will. I walk beside you in every step. I lift you up when you stumble, and I fight on your behalf against the invisible forces trying to block your path. My presence is your invincible shield, your limitless source of provision for your life. When you feel tired, step back, lean your head on the Father's chest, and let me replenish your strength. You do not need to act strong in front of the Father. Just be a small, weak child in need of protection. It is exactly in that complete surrender that my supreme power will be perfectly manifested through you, turning the impossible into the possible, opening straight paths right in the middle of the barren desert of your life. You will find yourself stronger than ever, not by fragile human strength, but by the unrivaled power of the great I Am. This inner strength is not just for you to protect yourself, but for you to step into a new role in the next chapter of your life. I am preparing to raise you up as a leader, a source of blessing for many others. The trials you have overcome will become compelling testimonies, inspiring and bringing hope to souls stuck in the darkness out there. You will be the one bringing healing, comfort, and direction to those trembling before the storm, just as the Father is holding and uplifting you today. To do that, you must forge a faith as sharp as a sword, a soul as wide as the ocean, and a steadfast will that nothing can break. Do not fear the strict demands of this refining process, because the Father is always here to guide and mold you bit by bit with the boundless love of a gentle yet majestic Father. Take a deep breath, my beloved child, and feel the holy energy flowing through every vein, lighting up every darkest corner in your body and soul. All fatigue, anxiety, all chains of insecurity and fear are being completely incinerated under the Father's fire of love. Are you ready to stand up? Stretch your shoulders and walk forward in a completely new position. The road ahead may still have volatile twists and turns, but you will no longer look at them with panic, but through the eyes of a warrior fully equipped with the armor of faith. The momentous event about to pour down upon your life will not be able to strike you down. On the contrary, it will be a magnificent launch pad, lifting you to a new height of prosperity, peace, and glory. But my beloved child, this majestic source of strength is not bestowed upon you just to keep to yourself in this quiet room. It is given to you to prepare for a decisive moment, an absolutely definitive choice that is about to appear right before your eyes in the next few days. This choice will represent the life and death boundary between you accepting a return to the old life of resignation, or bravely stepping through the door of glory that I have opened for you. Do you know what that decisive choice is, and how to make the wisest decision under my guidance? Continue to keep your heart steadfast and walk with the Father to the next stage, because I am about to reveal to you the climax of this destiny-transforming journey. My child, when you have felt that holy energy embracing every cell in your body, when you see your soul lightened after days of carrying heavy burdens, that is also the moment the Father wants to take your hand and stand before a very important threshold. It is not just an ordinary boundary, but the destined crossroads of your life, the path behind you with all its pain, its suffocating familiarity, toxic relationships, and outdated defensive habits, is calling you back with the voice of false safety. But the path ahead, where the door of glory that the Father has opened awaits, is a vast, unfamiliar space, requiring you to walk by faith and not by physical sight. The Father knows. Standing at this crossroads, your heart inevitably flutters with the beats of anxiety. Humans often fear what they cannot see the outcome of in advance. You are used to living in a narrow cage, even if it hurts you, even if it drains your energy every day. At least you know it's every corner. You fear that if you step out, if you bravely close the old chapter, you won't know where to go or what will become of you. But my dear child, listen to the whisper of this Father. No matter how familiar the cage is, it is still a dark dungeon, imprisoning your wings. I did not create you to live a withdrawn, resigned, and withered life in the shadows. I created you to soar high upon the clouds of true freedom, prosperity, and peace. It is time for you to make a fierce choice. This is not a superficial choice made with lip service, but a definitive commitment from the depths of your spirit. Look deeply at the truth. Has your long-standing procrastination truly brought you peace? The times you lied to yourself, telling yourself, let's wait a little longer and see, or maybe things will get better on their own. Did they actually change your dead-end situation, or just prolong the agonizing pain and erode your faith day by day? The Father does not want to see his beloved child living a half-hearted, stagnant life. I want you to be victorious, to live a life full of overflowing joy and exceeding peace. But to step into that glorious new chapter, you must bravely close the old chapter with the most resolute attitude. There are relationships you must decisively let go of. There are environments you must boldly step out of. There are negative thoughts, habits of blaming, and self-doubt clinging to you like spiritual parasites. And you must completely extinguish them under the fire of faith. Do not fear the emptiness after letting go, because exactly in that space, the Father will fill it with grace, wisdom, and my new blessings. When you bravely close the door of compromise, the Father's own hands will open for you doors of opportunity, holy connections, and abundant financial resources you never dared to dream of. My beloved child, you do not need to have the answers to all the questions of the future yourself before you can start walking. Faith does not require you to see the entire journey of the next 10 or 20 years. Faith only requires you to bravely take the first step right in the present. When you only see a small patch of light beneath your feet, that patch of light is the Father's promise, the gentle call of Jesus guiding your way. With every step you take by faith, the Father will extend that light, lifting your feet so they won't stumble on stones, and protecting you from all the traps of the world. Trust in the process that the Father is establishing for your life. All great shifts in this world begin with a small but definitive decision made in silence. Today, right in this sacred moment, the Father wants you to make that decision. Do you choose to continue living in the shadows of fear, anxiety, and resignation? Or do you choose to step out into the light, receive the power, the healing, and enter a new chapter of life, full of victory with the Father? If you are tired of days wandering in the wilderness of dead ends, if your heart yearns to be revived, embraced, and led by this Almighty Father, make the most powerful declarative action of faith. Throw the door of your heart wide open, clear out all doubts, and receive my sovereignty over every area of your life. Comment right below this message the phrase, "I open the door to receive you." When you type these words, let your soul truly merge into every letter. That is the moment you sign a holy covenant with heaven. The moment you officially hand over control of your life to the Father. I will step into the room of your soul, not as a temporary visiting guest, but as the Master, the Father, the everlasting protector. I will illuminate every dark corner, clean up all the brokenness, and re-establish a new order full of peace and spiritual prosperity for you. You will no longer have to shoulder your worries alone, because from now on, every battle of yours is the Father's battle. And in the Father, you are always the victor. Feel a cool, refreshing breeze blowing through your mind, chasing away the dark clouds of depression and doubt. My beloved child, you have been chosen, loved, and prepared for this moment. Do not let any deceitful voice of the world or the darkness shake your decision of obedience today. Stand firmly on the rock of faith, walking proudly with your royal identity. The new chapter of your life has officially begun, and the most miraculous, glorious things are waiting for you right ahead on the path. And right on that path, you will see your footsteps are no longer lonely, no longer heavy or fearful like in the days gone by. My beloved child, when the fire of decision has ignited in your heart, when you dare to bravely let go of the chains of the past, to step through the door of glory that the Father has prepared, the storms out there must naturally give way to a sacred silence. I am your Father, and in this moment, the Father wants you to truly stop. Take a deep breath and feel the atmosphere of freedom and peace overflowing your soul. The most exhausting battle is over. The time of tensing up to shoulder the whole world with your own small strength has officially come to a close. From this moment on, you are permitted to rest in my loving arms. Let the Father place my scarred hands of love upon your forehead. Weary from all your worries, I bless your mind, that from now on it is freed from the chains of anxiety, panic, and fear. Every negative thought every lying voice of the darkness trying to sow into your head about lack, failure, or loneliness all this time, must now remain completely silent before the voice of love from this Father. I give you a peace that surpasses all human understanding, a deep, soothing peace like a stream of fresh water, washing over every wrinkle of stress, calming the storms within, and giving you back absolute clarity and infinite confidence. Tonight, when you lay down on your bed, you will sleep a very sound, deep sleep under my protection, no longer tormented by nightmares or wandering thoughts. I bless your weary hands, the hands that for so long have had to work relentlessly, hustling back and forth in search of material security, but only receiving exhaustion and dead ends in return. The Father declares that, from now on, these hands will no longer be the hands of a slave to debt, lack, or insecurity. I will bless everything your hands touch, every good plan you cherish, and every genuine effort you make. I will open up financial resources from heaven, bringing unexpected opportunities and holy connections to completely liberate you from the destitution you faced for so long. You will see the financial burdens that once felt like a giant mountain now automatically melt away before the abundant provision of the Almighty Father. You do not need to strive. You do not need to bow down to the world to beg for opportunities, because the Father himself will be the one to pave the way and elevate your position before all people. I bless your heart, scarred by so many wounds. My beloved child, I know you have had to endure too much betrayal from the people you once trusted most, disappointment from shattered expectations, and the cold loneliness when no one understood your pain. But my dear child, I am your Father, and I can compensate for all those empty spaces with my unconditional love. Let me wipe away the dark memories that have caused you so much ache every time you recall them. I pour out the oil of joy instead of mourning. I clothe you with a garment of praise instead of a spirit of heaviness. Your heart will no longer be a cold, abandoned house, but will be a garden overflowing with the fruits of love, forgiveness, and kindness. You will be able to forgive those who hurt you, not because they deserve it, but because you deserve to walk freely in the Father's light without being dragged back by the chains of resentment. I bless the relationships around you, my beloved child. When I clear away the toxic friends and partners who are silently draining your energy and faith, I do not leave you alone. The Father will bring to your side true soulmates, companions who share your energy frequency and have pure hearts to share your joys, lift you up when you are weak, and together reach for higher values. You will see your family, your loved ones enveloped in harmony, love, and understanding. Every fracture, every misunderstanding that has been dividing your family will be automatically healed under my restoring power. Your family will be a warm home full of laughter, a true haven of peace after your hours of toiling out in society. My dear child, do you know that your decision to obey and bravely step through the door of destiny today has a tremendously profound impact? You are not only redeeming your own life, but you are the one breaking the curses, the patterns of suffering, poverty, and depression that have clung to your family and lineage for generations. You are the link that breaks that dark cycle to establish a completely new spiritual legacy full of prosperity, peace, and happiness for your future generations. Your children and your descendants will grow up under the sheltering wings of a royal lineage, inheriting overflowing blessings from your brave decision today. You are a victorious warrior, the one bringing the light of revival to your entire family. Always remember your divine identity. My child, you are my treasure, the chosen one, redeemed at an incredibly high price and loved unconditionally. Never allow anyone, or any circumstance, to define your worth based on the trivial standards of the world. When the world says you have failed, the Father says you are being prepared for a greater glory. When circumstances say you are lacking, The Father says, I am your ever-abundant source of provision. Always hold your head high and walk with the posture of a royal child, not with the arrogance of a selfish ego, but with a steadfast confidence founded on the unconditional love and unshakable faith in your Heavenly Father. The momentous event about to pour down upon your life will no longer be a threat that makes you afraid, but it will be a divine launchpad taking you to a new height of spiritual growth and holistic prosperity. The storm may still rage out there. The world may still have violent upheavals, but my beloved child will never be shaken. You already have a secure anchor for your soul gripping deeply into the rock that is me. You have been fully equipped with the armor of faith and love. You will walk firmly, majestically, and shine like a lighthouse in the open sea, bringing hope, healing, and direction to so many souls struggling in the darkness out there. I am with you always, even to the end of the age, even when you feel I am silent, even when you cannot feel my warmth in temporary trials. Always remember that this Father has never taken his eyes off you for even a second. I am quietly working behind the veil, arranging every smallest detail to bring about the best outcome for you. Continue to keep your heart perfectly still. Continue to obey and trust in the process the Father is establishing. You have walked a long, exhausting journey, and now is the time for you to reap the sweet fruits of your perseverance and obedient faith, to completely seal this holy covenant, to fully receive every blessing, healing, and the energy of revival that the Heavenly Father has just imparted to you today. Perform the final definitive act before heaven. Comment the word Amen as a definitive seal for the transformation of your destiny. At the same time, my beloved child, do not keep this cool, refreshing light only for yourself. Save this message of love as a shield to protect your soul whenever you feel weak or swayed by the worldly storms. Share it with the ones you love, with the souls who are stuck, who are trembling and exhaustedly carrying their burdens out there, so they too can hear the gentle call of the Father. Be freed from the chains of anxiety, and step with you into a glorious new chapter when you spread the Father's light. You are becoming an extended arm of grace, and my blessings upon your life will become even more abundant, overflowing, and unending. Walk in peace, my beloved child. The Father has taken over and carries everything on your behalf from now on. Let your heart simply rest in me, because my glory, peace, and prosperity have officially reigned over your life from this moment into eternity. Amen.